Welcome, welcome. It's my Tuesday evening Bible studies. It's going to be every Tuesday at 7:30 live on TikTok. Excuse me. I am recording it, so I will also put it on. It's going to be on YouTube, my Instagram, which is Coach V Fits, and even on Facebook. I'm trying to get the word out. So if you can't stay, I will absolutely record a video that will have the link to my YouTube so that you can watch it. But thank you for jumping in and joining me. I am talking about the book of Adam and Eve. This is my first time reading this book. I've always, as a Christian, felt like I wasn't supposed to read the other books of the Bible for some reason. Like, you know, as a Christian, you feel like you only want to know what you're taught in church. Like you don't want to know anything else. And my thing now, as I've matured and I've grown in my relationship with Yahuwah, is it's okay to research. He says, "My people perish due to lack of knowledge." It's okay you have the Ruach HaKodesh inside of you. He'll let you know if you're looking into something that you shouldn't be looking into. And what amazed me, let me turn this light off behind me because I think it's messing with my, okay. What amazed me about this was it did resonate with me. And it made sense. It felt like this is missing from the Bible. So now, you know, I've read this and I wanted to do this and read it again with you guys. But I got the book of Enoch. I've got the and Jubilee and Jasper, and you know I'm doing my research as I am reading my Bible, as I'm reading the Old Testament all the way through, and then I'm going to get into the New Testament. And once I've read everything, I'm going to start from the beginning all over again, because we're supposed to read the Bible like the love story that it is. It's a love story from our Creator, and it's alive. When you have His Spirit inside of you, He talks to you through the Bible. It's amazing how you can read the same scripture 800 times and get 800 different meanings from it, just depending on what you are dealing with in your life and what He wants to say to you at that time. So last week we read through to chapter 6, and at the end of chapter 6, Yahuwah, our Creator, was basically telling Adam and Eve, you guys listened to Satan, you believed his words, and you ate the fruit that I told you not to eat. And now you got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and I'm telling you I'm going to fix this for you, but it's not going to be for another 5,500 years. So you're going to have to live this life out in the punishment that I told you were going to get. The one thing I've learned about Yahuwah, our Creator, is He keeps His word. His word does not return to Him void. If He says something, you better believe it. You better bet on it, because it's going to happen. I don't bet on it, but you know what I'm saying. If He says He's going to do something, He's going to do it, good or bad. And so we're in chapter 7 of the book of Adam and Eve, and I got this little book from Amazon, because I started reading it on in my Kindle, and then I wanted to have like a book, a tangible book, and so I got this off of Amazon. It's super cheap, I think $9, not even that expensive. And I also have it in my Audible, because at night I like to listen to it as well. I like to listen to scriptures and things as I'm sleeping. So, but we're in chapter 7. And if any of you have this book, you're welcome to join me. I'm going to read and just stop and make some points, some things that touch me. And then once I'm done, I'll probably read through, I don't know, we'll see how far we go. But once I'm done, then I'll see if there's anyone that wants to comment or ask questions. Listen, I'm no expert, okay? I'm only doing this because I'm living my testimony, and I'm trying to share. If I can help one person learn how to have a real relationship with our Creator, I'll have done my job today. That's my goal every day, to just at least reach one person and be able to help one person understand that we were created for relationship with our Creator. And to have that relationship, you have to get into covenant with Yahuwah and obey His commands, follow His laws. And you can't do that without Him. So to have a real relationship with Him, you have to get on your knees and repent and ask Him to forgive you of your sins. You have to thank Him for sending His Son here to be the ultimate sacrifice. And then you must ask Him to fill you with His Spirit, His Ruach HaKodesh, so that He can help you have a real relationship with Him, because you can't do it on your own. And then once you've done that, you have to be ready, because now you're a threat to the enemy's kingdom. If the enemy was bothering you before, he's really going to be bothering you. But the difference now is you have He that is in you is greater than he that is in this world. The enemy knows who you are, and he knows what a threat you are. But in most cases, he counts on the fact that you don't know who you are. And the only way that you will know who you are and whose you belong to is when you work on your relationship with Yahuwah and get to know who He is. And He will show you who you are in Him. And it's amazing the journey that I've been on, getting to know Him by reading His Word and worshiping and fasting and abiding, just sitting. I was talking to Him today. I was just laying on my couch and looking up at the sky, and I'm like, I'm getting pretty good at just being still and just abiding, just listening for Him. Sometimes He talks to me. Sometimes He's just with me. And it's just as good, just feeling His presence just with me. I don't know what He's doing most of the time, but I know He loves me and He has me in the palm of His hand, because He says He does. He says He protects me and takes care of me, and I believe Him. And the proof is here. I see that He's taking care of me. So my goal in doing this is to just try to help anybody, somebody that will listen. I'm just a nobody. Well, I'm somebody pretty big to Abba. But just trying to help anybody that wants to know what it's like to have a real relationship with our Creator. So I'm going to start, again, I'm in the book of Adam and Eve, and I'm going to start reading from chapter 7. It says, and again, chapter 6 was basically Abba saying, I told you guys not to do it. You did it. You listened to Satan. And now you and all your seed for all generations are going to have to walk and deal with sin. And so when Adam and Eve heard these words from Elohim, they cried and sobbed even more. But they strengthened their hearts in Elohim, because they now felt that Yahuwah was to them like a father and a mother. And for this very reason, they cried before Him and sought mercy from Him. Then Elohim had pity on them and said, O Adam, I have made my covenant with you, and I will not turn from it. Neither will I let you return to the garden until my covenant of the great 5.5 days is fulfilled. So to Yahuwah, 5.5 days is 5,500 years. His time is not our timing. His ways are not our ways. Very different. Then Adam said to Elohim, O Yahuwah, you created us and made us fit to be in the garden. And before I transgressed, before I sinned, you made all beasts come to me, that I should name them. Your grace was then on me, and I named every one according to your mind, and you made them all subject to me. But now, O Yahuwah Elohim, that I have transgressed your commandment, all beasts will rise against me and will devour me and Eve, your handmaid, and will cut off our life from the face of the earth. The animals are pissed at them. Like, y'all messed up. Y'all messed up. Now the earth is going to be all messed up. So they were scared that the animals that they had dominion over, and now they don't, was going to kill them. So Adam says, I therefore beg you, O Elohim, that since you have made us come out of the garden and have made us be in a strange land, you will not let the beasts hurt us. When Yahuwah heard these words from Adam, he had pity on him and felt that he had truly said that the beasts of the field would rise and devour him and Eve, because he, Yahuwah, was angry with the two of them because of their transgressions. So Yahuwah in his anger was like, you know what? Y'all get out of the garden, out, and I'm gonna just let the animals eat y'all up, because y'all just get on my nerves. Then Elohim commanded the beast and the birds and all that moves on the earth to come to Adam and to be familiar with him, and not to trouble him and Eve, nor any of the good and righteous among their offspring. Then all the beasts paid homage to Adam, according to the commandment of Elohim, except the serpent, against which Elohim was angry. It did not come to Adam with the beast, because he's mad because he got in trouble and was slithering on the ground now. Then, so this is chapter 8. Let me see, anybody have any comments or anything? Okay, no, just checking. All right, so chapter 8. Then Adam cried and said, "O Elohim, when we lived in the garden and our hearts were lifted up, we saw the messengers that sang praises in the Shemalayim. But how we can't see like we once saw? No. When we entered the cave, all creation became hidden from us." So when they ate from the forbidden fruit, they thought they were going to be able to see more and be like Yahuwah, which is what Satan lied and told them. But actually, before they ate the forbidden fruit, they could see all the angels worshiping. They could see everything. Now they can't see anything. Then Yahuwah Elohim said to Adam, "When you were under subjection to me, you had a bright nature within you, and for that reason could you see distant things. But after you transgressed, your bright nature was taken out of you, and it was not left in you to see distant things, but only things near to you, as is the ability of the flesh, for it is brutish." When Adam and Eve had heard these words from Elohim, they went their way, praising and worshiping him with a sorrowful heart. They still continue to praise and worship him. And Elohim ceased communicating with them. So then, they didn't have the Ruach HaKodesh, his spirit, which I now understand it as, the word would come and Abba would send the word to come and speak to them. And the word became flesh, right? Which is Yahusha, his son, came and lived on the earth. But he had to go back to his father after he was the ultimate sacrifice, so that Yahuwah could send his spirit. That now, because of what Yahusha did, now we can actually have him living inside of us, and we can communicate with him here, which is like a secret weapon. Because as I was reading this book of Adam and Eve, I've learned Satan was always listening to their conversations, always listening to the word speaking to Adam and Eve, and getting, getting little things, secrets and ways to trick them and deceive them, because he could hear their conversations. So I've learned, when I pray, when I talk to Abba, I speak in here. The enemy cannot read your mind. He can throw thoughts in your mind, but he cannot read your mind. So if he throws something in your mind, and you might think, you don't know if it was you don't know if it was Yahuwah or the enemy, what I do in my own mind is I ask Abba to give me confirmation. And, when it's him, he gives me confirmation, and the only way that only he can do that. And the enemy doesn't know what I'm thinking, how I'm responding. I've learned to keep my mouth shut and pray and speak to Abba. Unless I'm speaking in my heavenly language and I'm praying for someone else, I keep everything inside so that the enemy does not have a foothold. Okay. Chapter 9. Then Adam and Eve came out of the cave of treasures, which is where they had to live after they got kicked out of the garden, and came near to the garden gate. They kept going back, trying to figure out how to get back in. There they stood and looked at it and cried for having gone away from it. And Adam and Eve went south of the gate of the garden to the side of it and found there the water that watered the garden, which came from the root of the tree of Hai, Hai. I hope I'm saying it right. And they saw that the water was split from there into 4 rivers over the earth. Then they came near to that water and looked at it, and saw that it was the water that came up from under the root of the tree of Hai in the garden. And Adam cried and wailed and beat his chest for being cut out from the garden, and said to Eve, and Eve, it says here Hawa, her name Eve, but it's Hawa. So I'm just going to say Hawa, Hawwah. That's Hebrew. Why have you brought so many of these plagues and punishments on me, on yourself, and on our descendants? So he turns on his wife, turns on Eve, and she actually was not his wife yet. That comes later on. But he turns on her and said, why did you do this to us? And Hawa said to him, what is it you have seen that caused you to cry and to speak to me in this manner? And he said to Hawa, do you not see this water that watered the trees of the garden and flowed out from there that was with us in the garden? And when we were in the garden, we did not care about it. But since we came to this strange land, we love it and turn it to use for our bodies. So they didn't need water, they didn't need food or anything when they were in the garden. Now they have to have it to survive. But when Hawa, Eve, heard these words from him, she cried, and from the soreness of their crying, they fell into the water. They would have to put an end to their lives in it. They killed themselves so many times. It was amazing. As never again to return and behold the creation, for when they looked at the work of creation, they felt they must put an end to themselves. Then Elohim, merciful and gracious, this is chapter 10, looked at them as they were lying in the water and close to death. And he sent a messenger who brought them out of the water and laid them on the seashore as dead. Then the messenger went up to Elohim and said, O Elohim, your creatures have breathed their last breath. Then Elohim sent his word to Adam and Hawa, Eve, who raised them from their death. And Adam said after he was raised, O Elohim, while we were in the garden, we did not require or care about this water. But since we came to this land, we cannot do without it. Then Elohim said to Adam, while you were under my command and were a bright messenger, you did not experience this water. But now that you have transgressed my commandment, you cannot do without water to wash your body and to make it grow. For it is now like that of beast, and is in want of water. When Adam and Hawa, Eve, heard these words from Elohim, they cried a bitter cry, and Adam entreated Elohim to let him return into the garden and look at it a second time. Can I just go in and just see it one more time? He was asking. But Elohim said to Adam, I have made you a promise. When that promise is fulfilled, I will bring you back into the garden, you and your righteous descendants. And Elohim ceased to commune with Adam. So he went away. Chapter 11. Adam and Hawa, Eve, then felt themselves burning with thirst and heat and sorrow. And Adam said to Hawa, we shall not drink of this water, even if we were to die. O Hawa, when this water came into our inner parts, it will increase our punishments and that of our descendants. So he wanted to rebel and die of thirst. Both Adam and Hawa then went away from the water and drank none of it at all, but came and entered the cave of treasures. But when in it, Adam could not see Eve, Hawa. He only heard the noise she made. Neither could she see Adam, but heard the noise he made. Then Adam cried in deep affliction and beat his chest, and got up and said to Hawa, where are you? And she said unto him, look, I am standing here in this darkness. They had never even seen darkness until now, when they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden. He then said to her, remember the bright nature in which we lived while we abode in the garden. They're reminiscing. Oh, Hawa, Eve. Remember the glory that rested on us in the garden. Oh, Hawa, Eve. Remember the trees that overshadowed us in the garden while we moved among them. Oh, Hawa, remember that while we were in the garden, we knew neither night nor day. Think of the tree of High, from below which flowed the water. That's the tree planted by the rivers of living water, and that shed splendor over us. Remember, O Hawa, the garden, land, and the brightness of it. They're sitting in the dark, in a dark cave, reminiscing about the Garden of Eden after they sinned and got kicked out. Think of that garden in which was no darkness while we lived in it. But no sooner did we come into this cave of treasures than darkness surrounded us all around until we can no longer see each other, and all the pleasure of this life has come to an end. Then Adam beat his chest, he and Hawa, and they mourned the whole night until the first light of dawn. And they sighed over the length of the night in the 8th month. And Adam beat himself and threw himself on the ground in the cave from bitter grief and because of the darkness, and lay there as dead. But Eve heard the noise he made in falling on the ground, and she felt about for him with her hands and found him like a corpse. Then she was afraid, speechless, and she remained by him. But the merciful Yahuwah looked on the death of Adam and on Eve's silence from fear of the darkness. And the word of Elohim came to Adam and raised him from his death and opened Eve's mouth that she might speak. Then Adam stood up in the cave and said, O Elohim, why has light departed from us and darkness covered us? Why did you leave us in this extensive darkness? Why do you plague us like this? And this darkness, O Yahuwah, where was it before it covered us? It is because of this that we cannot see each other. For so long as we were in the garden, we neither saw nor even knew what darkness was. I was not hidden from Eve, neither was she hidden from me, until now that she cannot see me, and no darkness came over us to separate us from each other. But she and I were both in one bright light. I saw her and she saw me. Yet now, since we came into this cave, darkness has covered us and separated us from each other, so that I do not see her and she does not see me. O Yahuwah, will you then plague us with this darkness? Chapter 13, and I'm going to stop after this one. Then, when Elohim, who is merciful and full of pity, heard Adam's voice, he said to him, O Adam, so long as the good messenger was obedient to me, a bright light rested on him and on his host. But when he transgressed my commandment, I dispossessed him of that bright nature, and he became dark. And when he was in the Shemalam, in the realms of light, he knew nothing of darkness. But he transgressed, and I made him fall from the Shemalam onto the earth. And it was this darkness that came over him. Talking about Lucifer. And O Adam, while in my garden and obedient to me, that bright light rests also on you. But when I heard of your transgression, I took from you that bright light. Yet of my mercy I did not turn you into darkness, but I made your body a body of flesh, over which I spread the skin, in order that it may bear cold and heat. If I had let my wrath fall heavily on you, I should have destroyed you, and had I turned you into darkness, it would have been as if I had killed you. So they were just floating spirits, like the soul, the spirits that we are. That's what they were in the Garden of Eden. They didn't have this flesh. They didn't need this flesh until he put them out of the Garden of Eden. Then they needed it to protect them from cold and heat and all of that. And they don't like it. But in my mercy, I have made you as you are when you transgress my commandments. O Adam, I drove you from the garden and made you come forth into this land and commanded you to live in this cave, and darkness covered you, as I did over him who transgressed my commandments. Talking about Lucifer, Satan. Thus, O Adam, has this night deceived you. It is not to last forever, but it is only of 12 hours. When it is over, daylight will return, and then daylight will return. Do not sigh or be moved, and do not say in your heart that this darkness is long and drags on wearily. Do not say in your heart that I plague you with it. Strengthen your heart and be not afraid. This darkness is not a punishment, Adam. I have made the day and have placed the sun in it to give light, in order that you and your children should do your work. For I knew you would sin and transgress and come out into this land. Yet I wouldn't force you, nor be heard over you, nor shut up, nor doom you through your fall, nor through your coming out from light into darkness, nor yet through your coming from the garden into this land. For I made you of the light, and I willed to bring out children of light from you that were like you. But you did not keep my commandment one day until I had finished the creation and blessed everything in it. Then concerning the tree, I commanded you not to eat of it. Yet I knew that Satan, who deceived himself, would also deceive you. Satan lied to himself, thinking he could be Yahuwah, thinking he could be higher than Yahuwah. He deceived himself. So now his goal in life until Yahusha returns is to deceive us, which is what he did to Adam and Eve. So I made known to you by means of the tree not to come near him. And I told you not to eat of the fruit thereof, nor to taste of it, nor yet to sit under it. Don't even go close to it, he told him, nor to yield to it. Had I not spoken to you, O Adam, concerning the tree, and had I left you without a commandment, and you had sinned, it would have been an offense. Sorry, I turned the page. On my part. For not having given you any order, you would have turned around and blamed me for it. But I commanded you and warned you, and you fell. So that my creatures cannot blame me, but the blame rests on them alone. And O Adam, I have made the day so that you and your descendants can work and toil in it. And I have made the night for them to rest in it from their work, and for the beasts of the field to go forth by night and look for their food. But little of darkness now remains, O Adam, and daylight will soon appear. So I'm going to stop there. That's the end of chapter 13. And I will continue next Tuesday. But I just think it's so interesting to be able to hear and understand, because I grew up, as most of you, with knowing the story of Adam and Eve, and they sinned and they ate the apple. But it's so interesting to kind of hear the dynamic from what they dealt with when they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden, and what they had to deal with, and how many times they freaking killed themselves. That's why that's a big law now, that you are not allowed to take your own life. You didn't give yourself life, you're not allowed to take your own life. And because they did it so many times, because they just did not want to live in the world outside of the Garden of Eden. So it's just really interesting, and you get to learn how compassionate Yahuwah is, even in our sin. Even when we're wrong and we know we're wrong, he still loves us so much, but he will not take his word back. If he tells you this is what's going to happen if you do this, baby, believe that's what's going to happen. So anyway, I'm going to look and see if anybody has any questions or anything that they want to say before I end this Bible study in prayer. I like to keep it kind of short, because people's attention spans are really short, so I like to keep it at 30 minutes. But if anybody has anything to say or any questions or comments, I'm here for it. Or were you just here enjoying the story time, which is cool too. I'm okay with that. So, okay, I'm going to end in prayer. Father, thank you so much for blessing me with this opportunity to be able to have story time, Bible story time with your people, with your children. We love you so much. Please help those, your dry bones, your remnants. Wake them up, Father. Use my voice to help wake up your people, because we know that time is going by fast, because Yahusha is returning very soon for judgment. And I just pray that your children hear your voice when you speak, so that they will obey. Bless every person at the sound of my voice. Soften their hearts, Father, to hear you. In Yahusha's mighty name I pray. Amen. All right, well, I'm going to end my video. See you next Tuesday at 7:30.